Hello, I'm Christy Caniff. I'm standing here in front of St Mary's Abbey in Loughrea. The Abbey was founded here circa 1300 by Richard de Burgo, the then Earl of Ulster. He founded St Mary's for the Carmelite order, and the Carmelites have been here in Loughrea since that time. The building itself comprises of a nave, a choir, a south transept and a smaller chapel. The conventual buildings, which would have been on the northern side of this particular building, are gone. Nothing remains of them today. One of the interesting facts here is that, according to tradition, St Ruth, the French general who died at the Battle of Aughrim, was buried here at night in 1691. The other important aspect to understand when we're looking at St Mary's here is that it's actually outside the town walls, or the perceived town walls. We're not quite sure what the walls of Loughrea were like. They may actually have been just embanked. But it's outside the moat as well. The moat is immediately to the north of the site here. So we have two important aspects of medieval Loughrea coming together at the one point. Loughrea Moat is the last functioning moat in Ireland. Loughrea was an important town within the four major Anglo-Norman towns in Connacht. It was the caput of the de Burgos. This was their major town. So from that perspective, it was really the capital of Connacht in the high medieval period. It survived as a town more or less up until the 17th century. St Mary's here behind me survived until the dissolution, where it was handed over to the Earl of Clanrickard, of course, himself being one of the burghs. When we look at the building itself, one of the elements that we see here that stands out is the bell tower here in Loughrea. If we examine the west gable here, we'll actually see that there's a traceried window above a pointed doorway. These are all late medieval features. In other words, they survived from the 15th or maybe even the early 16th century period. And if we look closely at the window itself, we see there are two decorative labels or stops either side of the base of the window, showing mythical beasts. Many of the dignitaries of Loughrea and the surrounding area are buried within the church here itself, which was part of what occurred in these medieval religious houses. In other words, they paid the friars to pray for their souls, form of purgatorial. And if we examine the cemetery around St Mary's here today, we'll actually see that it has become an enlarged cemetery for the town. And a lot of the business people and the general population, the general congregation around here are buried within the grounds here. In the first half of the 17th century, a new order arrived here to Loughrea, the Descalced Carmelites, and they remain here until the present day. A new convent was built here and a new church was built here on the grounds. And of course, the old St Mary's was abandoned and lies roofless today.